Good morning. I hope everybody's doing well. Like I said, it's Saturday. I'm not sure the last video I made, but I know a lot of you, and I sent out a reminder, are aware of the circumstances surrounding the school year. Where we'll get back to on April 6th, beginning April 6th, I believe, we will be strictly online. So we're not going to go back to the high school. We will not be back at Sardis this year. So everything's completely online. Again, I know this is a little bit different with this class. With those of you who are taking it as 113, we got to keep on progressing as normal. There's a few of you that are taking this as just pre-cal, and that's great. You'll need to try to pick back up, with those deadlines of April the 6th. Although if you're getting these videos now, you can, keep going right along, and that would be great. Okay, everything's gonna work out fine. Just be patient, and try to keep up with these videos. Try to ask questions. Maybe there'll be some sort of way we can, maybe do a video call. I know a lot are doing the Zoom video conferencing. Maybe that's something one night we could all get together, get on that, and y'all could just ask me questions, and then I could put that in for the video the next day of the questions that you had. And that I try to keep the videos, the review videos, I try to keep them about 10 minutes for the actual lesson video. They're generally about 20 minutes. So today's going to be a full lesson. So it'll be, close to a 20-minute video. I'm not sure. But right now, like I said, I know it's spring break, so you're not actually required to be doing these, but I just want to get ahead of the curve, so to speak, and make sure that we are, ready to go. Really starting on Monday for all you guys, which is March the 30th, and we'll just have to go like that. Also, I want to say real quickly, for those of you who are involved in sports, I know a lot of you in this class, whether it's band, whether it's tennis, whether it's baseball, whether it's softball, golf, whatever it is that you're involved in extracurricular. I feel for you. I'm sorry, that your season had to come to an end like this. Very difficult situation, but like I said, I know all you guys. I know, your character, and you'll get through this. The good thing for most of you that I'm talking to, and I apologize, I know I do have a couple seniors, but there is always next year. But I guess we learned the lesson of never taking anything for granted. And there again, I would be telling y'all this if we were in the classroom face to face. So like I said, tough situation, but we'll all get through this together. So but at this time I want to go ahead and I believe I'm doing example number 3. Yeah, well, I got it written on the board back here, which is on page 205. I want to do example 3 and 4 today. And you're going to look at these, and these are a little bit tricky. They can cause some definite issues, definite problems. The book does it slightly different than I do. And when you look at the book, or when I look at the book, their way's a lot easier. And it is, but we're doing the same thing. I just try to show it such that you understand, okay, this is kind of the process we've been doing before, this keep, change, flip process, dealing with the fractions, doing that. There's other ways to manipulate those, though, okay? So you got to understand there's so many different ways to do these problems. And, we have to just find out what we're comfortable with and do it that way, okay? All right, so starting at this problem, okay? Again, we got verify. So anytime we say verify, we know, okay, they give us the answer. So I like to relax. Just relax and say, okay, they've given me the answer. Okay, now I'm going to take these trig identities. I'm going to use these trig identities to manipulate one side of the equation, or perhaps both, and show that they're equal. Okay, verify. Okay, show they're equal. So that's what we're trying to do. okay? We're trying to show, or we're going to show that they are equal using the trig identities that you basically, or that's on page 197, okay? And I'll send you a link to some of this stuff. I'll need to remind myself to do that. I'll send you, maybe a picture link or a link to the trig identities. And then we're going to use those identities, and we're going to go kind of based off of these steps, this plan of hint, okay? And this is on page 203. Again, I know you can't really see that well, but it's on page 203, hints for verifying identities. And there's a long list of them, okay? Basically, it's going to consist of this. Find the side that's most difficult. Try to simplify it. How do you want to try to simplify it? Try to change everything to sine and cosine. And that's really the nuts and bolts of this lesson is find the side that's most difficult. Simplify it by using sine and cosine. And that's really what we're going to do right here, okay? So we're going to look at this side. We're going to try to determine which side's more difficult, and then we're going to go from there. So if I'm looking at this problem, okay, on the left, I have tangent t minus cotangent t over sine t times cosine t. And then on the right-hand side, I have a secant squared t minus cosecant squared t. So I think it's pretty obvious which one's the most, the simplest, but, it could definitely... sometimes that's a little bit confusing, but the most difficult side for this would be the left-hand side, okay? So let's take a look at this, okay? So on this left-hand side, I was trying to zoom in if you're wondering why I was reaching at the phone there. That looked kind of weird. So if I look at this left-hand side, what I'm going to do is I'm going to rewrite it, okay? Now, how can I rewrite this? Well, I can rewrite it I've just got one thing in the denominator. You say, Coach Wright. No, there's two. Yeah, but they're being multiplied together. So it's like 2 times x. That's just one term, okay? We'll consider that one term because it's being multiplied together. So I'm going to rewrite this as tangent t over sine t cosine t minus cosine t over sine t cosine t. So again, I just rewrote the fraction, and that's what I said a lot of times in this class is we got to get good at fractions. We got to be consistent with fractions. We got to know how to do the fractions. So I just rewrote this fraction by simply saying, okay, there was one term in the denominator, and let's rewrite it like that over each term in the numerator, okay? So now I've got to this point, and there's a couple different little tricks we can do here. I'm not going to show it like the book. I'm going to show it like I've been showing it. So I'm going to change now. Okay, I'm going to look at this and say, okay, everything's in terms of sine or cosine. I'm sorry, look, I wrote this down wrong. That's minus cotangent t right there, okay? Everything's in terms of sine and cosine except for this, which is tangent. So rewrite it as sine t over cosine t over sine t cosine t minus cotangent is the same thing as cosine t over sine t over sine t cosine t. All right, now here's the part where we run into some issues sometimes. So it's kind of like that double-decker fraction that I talk about, okay? Now I'm going to go and I'm going to kind of skip a step here. I've kind of, started doing this morning class of showing, okay, here's how you do it, here's how you do it, here's how you do it. Okay, let's get past showing every single step, okay? Because we should be getting a little bit more familiar with it, okay? But if you have problems with this, again, you can definitely ask me, okay? And you can, shoot me a remind or like I said, if we're able to do a Zoom or something, we can do it like that. But so I'm going to rewrite this as this. This is sine t over cosine t divided by sine t times cosine t. But that's the same thing as saying sine t cosine t. That's this. If I divide it by this, it's the same as multiplying by its reciprocal. So it's 1 over sine t cosine t. okay? Minus, write down the cosine t over sine t. If I divide by sine t cosine t, that's the same as multiplying by its reciprocal. And you know, I talk a lot about, if you divide by 2, it's the same as multiplying by 1/2, because 1/2 is the reciprocal of 2. So it's same thing here, same concept. Okay? So now, this sine t cancel out. That gives me 1 over cosine squared t on the denominator, okay? Because it's 1 cosine times cosine is cosine squared, minus, look at this cosine cancel, so it's 1 over sine times sine, well that's sine squared. So I have, hopefully we can see this, yes. I have 1 over cosine squared minus 1 over sine squared. And we'll bring this up here, okay? 1 over cosine squared is secant squared t minus 1 over sine squared is cosecant squared t. I have just verified this, okay? I have just verified this because now what I have created is I've shown that the left-hand side, all that stuff, all that is the same thing as the right-hand side, okay? And I verified it, again, by using the trig identities, okay? Using the trig identities, absolutely must do that. And then also knowing, okay, what are the steps? What are the processes? What are the techniques? And a lot of those techniques are simply pick a side that's difficult, change everything to sine and cosine, manipulate, make them equal, or show they're equal. Don't make. We're not making them equal. They're telling us they're equal. So that is how we work that. Okay. So again, it's very difficult for students initially, but eventually I think everybody will get the hang of it and do a great job with this. I mean, you're all very smart kids, so you're going to be able to handle this, okay? All right, next I'll be doing example number 4 next. All right, next we're going to do number 4. And as you can tell with number 4, we're gonna stay with kind of our same rules, so to speak, but it's also different. With number 4, you can see you've got cosine x over 1 minus sine x, and then on the other side you got 1 plus sine x over cosine x. So again, there's several different ways to do this problem. You may look at the right hand side and say, oh, well, Coach Wright, you've got one term in the denominator. Let's rewrite it. Put it underneath both of the numerators and see what we can do. And that's definitely a strategy. It's definitely a way that you can work it. It's definitely a way you can try it. There's, like I said, several different ways to verify these problems. For this one, however, we're going to get a little bit more specific, and we're going to try to look at it a little bit more from the guidelines that we got. And like I said, I know I need to get you all these out, or you can look, like I said, in your book on page 203. But on page 203, if we look down, and like I said, as you can tell, this says hints for verifying identities. So if you look down at number 6, the last hint, it says if an expression contains 1 plus sine x, okay? Hey, this one does. Multiplying both numerator and denominator by 1 minus sine x would give you 1 minus sine squared x, which could be replaced with cosine squared. Now, similar procedures apply for 1 minus sine x, so we have a 1 minus sine x as well. 1 plus cosine x and 1 minus cosine x. So anytime you have any of those 4, okay? Anytime, and I'll just write this down, okay, and then I'll erase it. But anytime you have 1 plus sine x, 1 minus sine x, 1 plus cosine x, or 1 minus cosine x, you can multiply by its conjugate, okay? So if I have 1 plus sine x, I'm going to multiply by 1 minus sine x. If I have 1 minus sine x, I'm going to multiply by 1 plus sine x. If I have 1 plus cosine x, I'm going to multiply by 1 minus cosine x. And if I have 1 minus cosine x, I'm going to multiply by 1 plus cosine x, okay? So in this problem, we actually have both. And what I mean by that is we have a 1 minus sine x on the left, and we have a 1 plus sine x on the right, okay? So it really doesn't matter here, but we're gonna go ahead and multiply. We're just gonna take this right-hand side here, and we're gonna multiply by, it's a 1 plus, so we're gonna multiply by 1 minus, okay? And now, again, when you do that, that means we're just multiplying the top and the bottom. We're just multiplying, and I'll write this in red so you can see we're multiplying by the conjugate, but it's multiplying the top and the bottom by 1 minus sine x. Okay? Now, the whole reason I do this is to manipulate the numerator. Okay? It's not really for the denominator, so to speak. Okay? So, I'm going to do the top one. So, this is full method. This becomes full method. So, first, outside, inside, last. Okay? So, 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times negative sine x is negative sine x. Positive sine x times 1 is positive sine x. And like they told you, this is you're going to get positive sine times negative sine squared x. Over. Now, this, by multiplying by the conjugate deal, this does not affect the denominator. So I'm just going to write down the denominator. Okay? So it's 1 minus sine x. I'm just going to leave it like that. Okay? Yes, you can distribute through, but you're probably going to have to pull stuff back out. It's just not worth your time. So, on the top, the sine x's cancel. And they told us, again, step 6, we get 1 minus sine squared x over cosine x, 1 minus sine x. All right? So there again, we look and we say, okay, what's 1 minus sine x? 1 minus sine x is cosine squared x from the Pythagorean theorem, or Pythagorean identities, over cosine x, 1 minus sine x. Okay? So that's what we have right there. Okay, now we're going to look at this, okay? We're going to look at this and we'll say, okay, remember, I'm verifying. So I want to get to the other side. I want it to be equal to cosine x over 1 minus sine x, okay? If I can do that, I'm good, okay? So I've almost got it. And I do got it, okay? But here's all you got to see now, okay? I've got, and I'm just going to write it up here because so you can see. So right here, I have 2 cosines here. So cosine times cosine. Here, I have a cosine in the denominator being multiplied by something. So that means one of these and this will cancel. Okay? So this cosine cancels out, and it just leaves me with 1 up top. So up top, I just have 1 cosine x, and in the bottom, it canceled. So all I have is 1 minus sine x. And now, I have shown that the right-hand side, right here, all this is equivalent to the left-hand side. And that's how you verify. Okay? So you got to understand, when we're working these problems, okay? When you're working these problems, you got the answers. Okay? The answers are right there. It's telling you, hey, here it is. Here's the answer. Show me. That's the one thing about this on a test, okay? When we test on this or however that plays out, we can't be multiple choice. I mean, there's just, I guess there's really not, okay? So if I say verify, I'm going to have to need step by step by step by step, okay? It's good because, maybe we can get partial credit if you're really struggling with this, which y'all are not. You're not going to. I'm not trying to make you think, oh, this is very, very difficult. I mean, it's obviously tricky, but so you will have to show steps, be able to go from here to here to here to here, okay? Get familiar with the trig identities. Make sure you're know the reciprocals. Know, okay, cosecant and sine, okay? cosine and secant, and obviously tangent, cotangent. Know those, okay? Know the Pythagorean identities. The sine squared plus cosine squared equals 1, okay? Very important. What tangent's equal to? Tangent sine over cosine. And I know I was able to, one day in class, I was able to break that down for you and kind of show you that, the y over x and all that stuff. So anyways, but that was the lesson for today. And like I said, I'll probably come back on Monday. I guess it'll be. And I hope that we're going to hear more from everybody at the central office, for everybody in administration. There's a lot of decisions being made, a lot of things that we want to do and try to do, and just be aware. Be aware. I may try to one night. Okay. Say, okay, maybe at 8 o'clock on a Wednesday night, or 8:30 on a Wednesday night, or whatever night. Do a Zoom deal, okay? Which again, it'll just be all of us on a video conference call type deal, and just talking. I mean, we don't necessarily even have to do math. That's probably I guess that's strange if you're just talking to your teacher. It's kind of random, wasn't it? But no, just to get caught back up and say, okay, let's see. What questions you have about some of these problems, or, heck, if you just, sometimes it's just nice to talk to familiar folks or whatever. So anyways, just kind of be prepared for that, and make sure that you, I'll get you more info on that. I know on Monday, again, I know I'm rambling now and I'm sorry. On Monday, we are giving out, I will not be there, but they are giving out meals at the high school, so swing by and get one. That's for everybody. That's for you guys. I was able to get a few last week and pass out. So stop by the high school. I think the times are, and I apologize. I'm sure you've seen it. I think 11 to 1 and 4 to 6. Maybe I could be off on that. So, but anyways, make sure you stop by and get those. Okay. All right. So your assignment is page 209. And the other day, I've already given you the 45 through 51, but I'm just going to say now, 45 through 65 odd. All right, guys. Everybody have a good day and stay safe. See you next time.